Hello everybody. Hello to all my subscribers. A little dust on my camera. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to do a short video. Another one about my Chevelle here. Just want to show you guys, show everybody how this car got to look this way. Now, it was a long, hard road. Yes, I said long and hard. It took me from, well, I bought the car back in 1996. It was in August of 1996. And didn't always look like this. I had to make it look like this. And it's went over a few transformations over the years. An engine or two. All that good shit. So, I can't go back in time, but I have some pictures to show you all of what the car looked like when I got it and what I did to it. So you have to all bear with me here because this is some old stuff and that's me back in the day. But anyway, this is what the car looked like back when I got it. Back in 1996. I drove it home from Salisbury, PA with no tags. And I drove it to school. I just tagged it historical. Drove it to school as much as I could. Of course, back then I was a senior when I started back into high school. And I really didn't have a lot of money. I was working. But, you know, it was like $6 an hour, stuff like that. And then, after I graduated from high school, I decided to tear it down. And as you can see, it wasn't a real clean car. It had its bad spots, especially right here. That quarter panel was really bad. It was ate up, plus they smeared putty in it and they tried to fix it half-assed and didn't work. Whoever did it, I don't know who originally had the car, but I am the second person to title and tag the car. But I am the third owner of the car. Because you have the guy I bought it off of never tagged it or titled it. And here was my trunk lid. And I bought a new trunk lid off a guy. Back then you had to buy parts, whatever you could find. And let's see that a little better. Here we go. And I put that trunk lid on. The frame was bent in the back. Yeah. I replaced both quarters. I didn't have a full quarter to put on because all I could afford back then was the one that just went up to the quarter glass. And then I had to spot weld it and all that other stuff. There's a real good friend of mine I went to school with. Anyway, back then I tried to fix some fenders and put on it. Those fenders looked like hell. After I was done with them, I wasn't satisfied, so ended up changing them. And it was ate out right there at the bottom. Well, that's where the fender brace is. And I fixed that, and I just slopped a bunch of slop on it to keep it from eating up, because you don't see it anyway. And there's another picture of the rotten piece on the body. I ended up fixing this piece because I couldn't get it. They didn't make it back then. And there's the fender that I fixed. And then they made fenders. They started making production fenders a couple years later. There's my dad's GTO crammed in here beside it. And as you can see, I couldn't go the whole way up on the quarters. I had to put wheel wells in there too. And she was pretty rough. There's one of the quarters. I still have these quarters. I didn't use them. Of course, they went up further than that. I replaced them further up. But yeah. And let me see here. Had progress right there. That was the quarters that I bought, and then I finished it. Which, you know, for an amateur, I thought it did pretty good. But here's when I was putting it on, fitting it. I had to fix the wheel wells in the trunk. And I had to they only made outer ones back then. I'm kind of going backwards on you, but that's what that quarter looked like. I was kind of test fitting it because they give you a little extra material. That's year one for you. And here is the finished product. Right here. How good you can see that. These pictures are very old, so I was a little proud of myself. I took a bunch of pictures of this. And here's the quarter that was on the other side. Somebody had put a patch in it and made a quarter. Because that's what it was when I started taking the paint off. There was 2 holes in the bottom. And I thought, I'll just fix those. And right. Look at that. Look at that shit. That's pretty bad. And here's my inner fenders. And I got it all fixed up and primed. It sat around for a couple years in the garage because I didn't have no money to mess with it. And there's another picture of it when it came home. But here's a picture of it. I was pulling out of the garage one day. Took it for a little rip with no tags. I did finish it one time. And I did paint it green again. I wasn't satisfied with it, so I stripped it back down. Here's another picture from '96. And that's one of when I finished the car the first time. Let's see. Let's go on here. There's more of the trunk. More of that bad quarter panel I replaced. This is basically, I must have had doubles of this stuff back then. Here's an old pic right here of it in the garage here sitting. Here's when the very first time I took it to Mason-Dixon to drag race it. Of course, you see, I had to take the trim rings off so they wouldn't let you run it with trim rings. So I took them off and I drove it clear to Hagerstown, which was about almost 2 hours away. Probably an hour and a half. Or an hour and like 40 minutes. I had 433 rears in it back then, and it took a long time to get there. Here's me doing a burnout. And here's me on coming back from the finish line. There's a couple other cars there. There's me and a, looks like a Dart. Yeah. Let me see, here's another one of me with the Dart. At least I think it was a Dart. Might have, I don't think it was a Demon. And then here's after I stripped it again. I did overhaul the engine. That's the one that's on the stand here behind me. I always talk about redoing. That's when it was in the car, and I had the 750 Holly on there. Here's a picture of the garage when it was a little cleaner in here. And I had to redo the interior. It was all green. I didn't care much for the green. Which now everybody's just shitting bricks over it. You can see my dad's GTO over there with the 455. There's the 400. Sorry, the 400. And let's see, here's some other pictures when it was outside before I painted it that one time. And oh yeah, here's what the engine looked like when I brought it home. And this was a picture. It's like back then, you know, we didn't have a lot of video games and there wasn't a lot of online stuff to do, so my friends came over, we shot the shit in the garage around the car. That was the first time I painted it. That was before I didn't have no money, so I had to put other tires and wheels on the front, which, you know, they were okay, I guess. But yeah, that's and now here it is today. So we did all that work. Well, I did all that work. My dad helped me a little bit here and there. He showed me how to patch those inner wheel wells. And he showed me a lot of other stuff, you know. And he said that he's not a body man, he's just an amateur himself, but he's really he really cares about appearance and all that, so he's really picky with it, and you know, all this stuff pays off in the end. So yeah, it had a green bench seat when I bought it. The interior was actually pretty nice for stock, as I replaced the buckets, the carpet, the door panels, but like the headliner's original, I just painted it with that interior dye, and the sun visor's original, the dash top's original. Of course, you can see that I painted it, and I just more or less took all the green out. But the seat belts, you can still see it on them, what it was, and I don't care. I'm not going to worry about that. So, and there you have it, everybody. In case you're all wanted to know. I mean, that's about as in-depth as I can go with it, because it was so long ago. I can't even just think of how long ago it was, because time just flies so fast, you know. And one day you're 20 years old or 19 years old, next day you're 43. So awesome. Well, all I can say is that I'm a lot wiser today than what I was back then. I was real stupid back then. But if I did anything right, I would have to say my kids, having them, and doing this car over were probably about the most rightest things I've ever done in my life. I always bitch about getting married, but that's not a big deal. Being married is fine. It's, you know, something everybody does. So here we are. This will probably be the last video I do for the year, maybe. So 22's coming, and of course more fucking COVID's coming, so that's just fucking great. Love to hear that. But anyhow, everybody, have an awesome Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the new year. I might do another video, I don't know. If I think of something else, I'll do another one. But everybody, have a good one. Take care, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good shit. Like, share, subscribe. You know what you gotta do. You can click on that little bell down there, I guess, if you want to. That's up to you. Alright, everybody. Have a good one. I'll see you around.